Hey there, and welcome to the High Quality Buyers presentation. I'm going to go over how I profitably spent over $20 million on YouTube while generating high quality, perfect match leads and buyers for my clients. Hi, I'm Adam Holland. If you're not familiar with who I am, I'll have one slide. I don't usually like to talk about myself much, but I think it's important that if you're going to learn from somebody, you know what their background is and what they've been able to accomplish so that they can give you the at least the credibility to know that they know what they're talking about, right? So my story went from unemployed to unemployable. I needed to bootstrap my business, my life, my finances, because I didn't have a lot of money. And once I started to earn some money online, I dove in headfirst into paid marketing. Luckily, when I was just starting my business, I built a $20,000 per month business within my first full year online. And this was way back in like 2008. I went on to eventually found my marketing agency, Marketing Agency, LLC, or AKA Adam Holland Marketing. I've generated tens of millions of visitors and over $100 million in revenue for myself and my clients. And the best results by far have come from YouTube, hence this presentation today. So why YouTube? Why even be interested in YouTube? And as I go through this, I want you to just think to yourself, how does this apply specifically to my business, my offer? In your case, your business, your offer. So why YouTube? Well, there's over a couple billion logged in monthly users checking out the platform, plugged in, over 1 billion hours watched of videos per day. 80% of consumers said they watch a YouTube product video before making a purchase. Meaning that they're going out there, they're researching, they're looking at reviews, they're looking at unboxing videos, all sorts of stuff. And especially when it comes to YouTube, if you're selling any kind of educational product, people are on YouTube doing research. That's what it's really there for. It's the video library, so to speak, right? Everybody's looking for information on certain topics. So what does that mean to you? It allows you to get in front of your ideal customer. Why? Because YouTube equals intent. So what makes YouTube different than other social media platforms? Well, search means I'm actively searching for something. My intent is to go out there and make a purchase or do some research around something on what physician I'm going to go to for something, or I'm going to look at where the closest skate rink is to my house or something like that, or where can I sign up my son for Little League Baseball, something along those lines, right? You have a very specific intent on what you're doing. You're actively taking an action. You're actively going after whatever it is that you want in that case, with some kind of an answer, solution, whatever it may be. The feed on Instagram, Facebook, et cetera, that is interruption marketing. They're in the mode of just looking at what other people are doing in their lives. What did their friend have for dinner last night that they posted about, whatever it is, and they're not necessarily in the mindset of looking for that solution. And this is the biggest difference, is you're able to find high quality, high intent buyer type traffic. And if you're not already familiar with Agora is one of the largest financial publishers online. They've got dozens of different brands underneath their umbrella, over $1 billion per year. They said YouTube traffic converted 66% better than Facebook traffic. Why? Because of the intent. That's not to say that Facebook's all bad. I have lots of praises I'm going to say around Facebook, I'm sure, throughout the course of this presentation. So if you think I'm going to throw tomatoes at other platforms, you're wrong. So, which, by the way, my business partner is a Facebook ninja. So we still run Facebook ads, but I'm the YouTube expert, so that's why I'm talking to you about YouTube today. So what offers work well with YouTube ads? So info products, ebooks, courses. If you're a coach or a consultant, that as well. If you're looking for leads specifically, it could be a service-based business. It could be for an higher ticket e-commerce product. I did put e-commerce on here, but typically YouTube's per click going to be more expensive than doing like Google Shopping, Google Search, or Facebook advertising. So for lower ticket e-commerce, it's not going to necessarily be as profitable. Is it still possible? Yes. I've had the greatest luck with higher ticket e-commerce type products. And I kind of include SaaS, software as a service, in this list as well. I just kind of like couple that with lead generation as far as that goes. So there are some other things, but these are the primary things that are going to work for YouTube. If you're not quite sure your offer will work, stay all the way until the end. I'll share with you my email and a way to reach out to me as far as that goes for your questions. So Facebook versus YouTube. On Facebook, I've seen a lot of marketers talking about, well, I got video views for 1 cent. And my question, to that is, well, who gives a fart? A video view for a penny, if that isn't turning into leads and ultimately revenue, what good is it? I'm not here to just boast about views and about attention and likes. Likes, I can't deposit into your bank account, right? It's about buyers. So the way that Facebook measures a video view is that person watches for 3 seconds. Well, what does a 3-second watch time mean? Nothing. I mean, you have a good hook or you don't have a good hook to get somebody's attention in 3 seconds. But that's not a lot, right? By the way, they need to watch for 30 seconds for you to get charged for a view on YouTube, technically. So, targeting interests. You can only target one per ad group. Otherwise, you don't really know what's converting. Now, obviously, there's exception to this, and now Facebook is really transitioning to using their Advantage and Advantage Plus, leaning on AI for targeting and creatives as well, meaning the videos and the images, all those kind of things. From what my partner's seen, creatives, it's a dumpster fire, leaning solely on Advantage Plus without feeding Facebook enough data to know where to direct the AI for the algorithm to really work, hasn't worked as well either. So how do you laser target the exact customer that you already know that you want to target? That you already know what that customer avatar is, what their likes and dislikes are, what motivates them, what emotions are they dealing with, what are their pain points, and ultimately how to display that solution in front of them, right? And the next part is Facebook ad approvals can be frustrating. And again, this is kind of across the board on all platforms from time to time. Sometimes Google's a little bit better. Sometimes Facebook's a little bit better. I shouldn't say that. It's either almost as good as Google or it's still far worse. Let's put it that way. Facebook in particular can be incredibly frustrating. With Google, I've got a rep that I can reach out to and we can escalate, the ad approvals, things like that. Facebook, it's so much tougher to get through. And not only is it frustrating for the disapproved ads, too many disapproved ads can mean account suspensions. Then you're jumping through hoops, there's no customer service, and ultimately you lose the ad account and you can no longer even advertise on Facebook again. That is incredibly difficult to have, all of your business in that one Facebook bucket and then it goes away. Right? And if you're resonating with what I'm saying, I feel for you. I've been there in the past. Again, I've been marketing for close to 20 years now, I guess, online, 18 years online. So I've been through multiple different Facebook account suspensions. I've only had one Google account suspension, and it wasn't my fault. And I was still able to promote the product, luckily. So all that being said, a lot of hoops to jump through with Facebook and a lot of frustrations. And again, this is an old screenshot, but when you dump a bunch of interest in one thing, you're not going to target Coors Light and First Aid and Oakland Raiders, right? It's back when the Raiders were in Oakland, right? So that's how old that screenshot is. But again, you're not going to put everything in one campaign and not know where the heck things are converting. So anyway, back to the YouTube side of things. What about YouTube? Well, you don't get charged for a video view unless they've watched 30 seconds. This means your clicks are more qualified. So you can spend that first 5 seconds before that skip button comes up, getting their attention. We'll talk about that. And then the next 25 seconds after that, qualifying them. Say, hey, you know what? In 30 seconds, I'm going to pay for your view. So if you're not interested, click skip, or whatever. Or if you're dealing with X, Y, and Z, if you're not, skip this ad. Right? So again, make sure that the person watching the rest of your ad is going to be more qualified so that by the time they actually get to your website, they are the exact lead that you're looking for. Targeting interests, well, guess what? You can target keywords, channels, specific videos that you want your ad to come up over. So very, very diverse and highly targeted ways to go after your end user. Audiences based on YouTube, Google Maps, even websites. What I mean by this is I can basically tell Google how to create a customized audience based upon where you're searching, whether it's Google search itself, YouTube. If I'm going on to Google Maps and I'm typing in chiropractor near me, guess what? I can target the person looking for chiropractor stuff right on Google Maps and say, hey, back pain, look at this product. Right? Something along those lines. And even websites. Google Analytics is installed on billions of websites. If Google Analytics is installed, Google has a bunch of data on that website. They know what the topic of that website is. And I can say, hey, I'm looking for an audience that's similar to visitors that have gone to these different sites. Pretty sweet. It's really, really cool just how much data, Big Brother has on us, right? And when it comes to YouTube ad approvals, again, just like Facebook, you need to be compliant. You're going to still see potential for ad disapprovals, sure, but it seems like they approve now, ask questions later, right? And then some of the ones that are disapproved, we can appeal them. If they don't go through right away, we can escalate to a rep. But typically, like I just had a client have 3 ads disapproved. We still had other ads in that campaign running, so it didn't matter. Ads were still running. It didn't affect the whole hygiene of the account, so to speak. So now, do you need a huge budget? I've had clients that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars per month on YouTube with me. But let's take a look at a very, very small example. This is in particular a high-ticket e-commerce product that was a custom musical instrument. The video ad itself was only 90 seconds. It was very basic, white screen, some images and text on it. Again, very, very basic, no crazy graphics or anything like that, but very, very specific targeting. We knew exactly who we needed to go after. The initial marketing budget was only $300 per month. It went up a little bit after that, but ultimately we generated 339 leads for a little over $4 cost per lead, got 28 sales. The minimum sale is $4,500 for that particular client. This meant the first time that they were, using us, just starting up, we added $126,000 in new sales just in that small chunk of time. The cool thing was we actually went on the next year and we did not just that many sales in a short span of time, like 6 months or something like that, or maybe that was the previous Black Friday, holiday deal, from Black Friday to New Year's. The next year, I think we did close to double that, so we were able to more than double this client's business over the span of, year and a half, 2 years, which is great. So let's look at another one. So let's look at the actual data here. If you're a numbers person, you're going to love this. If not, you might start to love numbers after this. So what was the cost of this campaign? The cost of this campaign was $2,113. Right? How many leads were generated? Well, they had a couple of different kinds of opt-ins. The main one that we're looking at is this kind of opt-in right here. So that was 1,668 leads. That's right, $2,000 for 1,600 something leads. That's crazy. You can't even get that for a click. Nowadays we're generating leads for like $1.30, $1.34, I think is the math on that. So that's the cost per lead. It's about $1.34, I think. But now, what about sales? Well, let's check out ad spend versus actual revenue. So we generated $2,000 in cost, but they had a one-time offer. After people opted in this case for a free ebook, the next page they saw was, hey, thanks for opting in for the ebook. It's going to be in your inbox in a moment, but first, I'm going to give you this special deal. This product is usually cost this much. We're going to give it to you for $17 instead. And they had a bunch of people take up that offer. Out of almost 1,700 leads, 122 buyers, and that brought them back in about $2,000 in revenue. So what does that mean? They spent $2,100 to get day zero. The first day those people opted in, they earned back almost everything they spent in ads. And you're like, well, Adam, they lost money. No. The main revenue driver for this client was their higher ticket products, their courses, and live events. They had courses that started at a few $100s and live events that went up to several $1,000s. So imagine having to spend, your marketing budget's going to be something like, let's say, $200,000, $300,000 for the year. Right? Imagine that $200,000 to $300,000 is virtually covered on day one, so you've got no risk to go out there and grow your buyer list and grow your leads list in general. And then the next $2 million that you make above and beyond that is basically, there's no cost other than fulfillment. All the ad costs have been covered. Isn't that awesome? So what did it cost this client to generate these leads? Basically nothing. That is awesome. So let's look at one more here real quick. So this is a more recent offer. You can see the time on this was this year, like a month before I've actually started recording this. This is, again, a brand new offer. Traffic started from zero. Again, no traffic before this. And this is March 9th here. This is March 11th where the traffic actually started. Maybe this is March 11th or whatever. Screenshot was taken on March 26th. So the last date here is March 25th. So this is, so it's a full day of data. So you don't see like me take the screenshot on the 26th and all the numbers go down because it's the morning and hasn't gotten the traffic yet, right? So the next screen that I'm going to show you is the dashboard, all the numbers that are below this graph. Okay. So again, wanted to show you and just prove to you, very new offer, right? So here's all the numbers from the campaigns that we started for this client. So leads, you can see step one lead, right? 144 leads for $2,200. So what, $15 a lead. This one is $25 a lead. This one's $52 a lead. But here's the crazy thing. We don't just look at lead cost. We want to know, in this particular case, the book call cost. So these people come in, they opt in for a free video. The video talks to them about this particular opportunity, and this is in the business niche for business consulting. And then they book a call after they watch that video. So again, we don't really care as much of the cost per lead as the cost per book call and ultimately the return on ad spend. So whether the lead is $15, which is great, or this is a newer part of the campaign, maybe this was still in testing, it didn't start until later, whatever, $50 a lead. Maybe that one eventually got paused, who knows. But why wouldn't I pause it? Well, the BCC, the book call cost on these campaigns was only $80 or $100. This one was a little high at $250, but again, letting it play out and seeing what the return on investment is. This is from a client that was with me 2 years ago, went and tried a Facebook agency. They did not do well, and then eventually came back to me a year later and said, hey, we're about to launch another new offer. We did the best with you. Let's have a run at this. And right out of the gates, we've got conversions going, tons of leads coming in, tons of book calls. As a matter of fact, we finished up about the first month or so with this client, and they've gotten hundreds of book calls, and we've been scaling this up pretty awesome. So again, what does this mean for your business? Does this mean more traffic? Can you see more leads for your business, more sales and revenue, and ultimately save you more time so you can focus instead on marketing, but you can focus instead on instead of marketing, but you can focus instead on the actual fun things that you like doing in your business, the coaching or the fulfillment or researching some more product and developing that, So it's spend the time in your business on what you want to spend. Right? So in this presentation, you've already seen some revealing case studies. I'm going to go over some very specific marketing strategies, as well as some YouTube insights, and I will be delivering some humor because I don't like boring presentations. That ain't me. So YouTube insight number one is congruency. You can't put a square peg into a round hole. Now, Chuck Norris can, but we can't, right? So the square peg needs to go in the square hole, the round peg in the round hole. Right? So this needs to make sense to not only us, but to our potential clients, right? So if I look at the ad copy, now again, this is not a compliant ad with income claims on it, but I'm doing a very obvious congruency example here, just making this very brutally honest and blunt here. So a bad example, the ad would say something like, discover how this stay-at-home dad earns $250,000 per year from his couch. And then the landing page, they click over after the ad, the headline says, former construction worker pulls in $500 per day. And they're like, wait a second, is the construction worker a dad? Is $500 a day $250K a year? I don't know. And and it's just, again, it's not congruent, it's confusing. It's just like, are we talking about the same person? When your ad and your landing page isn't congruent, more questions come up than answers. And if there's any confusion, what does the customer or the client not do? They don't take the next step. They don't opt in. They don't buy your product and service, whatever. A better example of this would be discover how a single mom with 2 jobs was able to still hit her weight loss goals. Landing page, single mom loses 25 pounds using this simple trick. The cool thing is if you can actually take the headlines and interchange them from the ad to the landing page, 100% they're congruent. Right? So again, in terms of congruency, ask yourself some of these questions. What is your ideal customer actually searching for? Now imagine being able to be inside the mind of your prospect. What is the dialogue going on inside their head? What is the conversation that they're already having inside their head sound like? Are you anticipating their needs, their worries, their desires? And how can you enter that conversation? So that is the kind of copy you want to write. And if you're not sure about this, ChatGPT, Claude, there's plenty of AI services out there that you can go and ask these kinds of questions. Well, what is the ideal customer for my product interested in or searching for? And again, this is something that is part of my client onboarding process. We actually go through with you as well. So here's an example search. Let's say I'm doing a search for ClickFunnels tutorial, and I'm specifically looking for some stuff with how to build out a landing page or whatever it might be. I'm already clearly a ClickFunnels type user. Maybe I'm having trouble with how to build a website on their platform. I go to YouTube for a solution. I click on the first video that comes up, and then on that video, the ultimate ClickFunnels tutorial, I clicked on the top video here, and then what comes up? Oh, what do you know? It's Wix.com, a ClickFunnels competitor, advertising their service over video about ClickFunnels. And where's the beginning of that video say? Every 1.23 seconds, a new user goes to Wix.com and starts creating a professional website. Well, wow, you got that many clients? You have that many people that are using Wix? And you can I can start creating my own website. Maybe it'll be easier. I don't know. Let me go check it out. And then boom, they're stealing clients from ClickFunnels, right? So do you see how congruency is important? Next, YouTube insight number 2, landing page copy and design. Again, I don't care if you're using ClickFunnels, Unbounce, Kajabi, Lead Pages. Go High Level is kind of like one of my preferences nowadays, but it's not so much about the platform, it's about what you do with it. All right, so again, the first thing you want to have is a strong headline. Like we had there, they can be interchangeable with the ad hook or whatever, but ultimately you want at least 3 of those. The subheadline is going to expand on the headline. So a headline grabs their attention, subheadline gives them a little bit more context. And then there's usually text, a couple bullet points, whatever it might be, making a statement, a claim. So blank is what's happening in this industry right now. And this is how you're going to discover, blah, 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 whatever. Again, these are 2 different sentences, by the way. That wasn't meant to be a run-on sentence. So ultimately, you want to have headline, subheadline, and then below that, you'll have a sentence, by filling out the form below, you're going to get an ebook where you're going to discover, boom, 3 bullet points. And you can use a video or image. If you're doing YouTube ads, just use an image. We found that when they watch a video, they've got all the information they need from that video to take the next step and then opt in. You don't need to give them a whole bunch more information before the landing page. So again, image is preferred. You want to have a call to action on the landing page, and you want to have a button that is a complementary color to the other colors on the website. So for me, I love using blue in my logos. There might be another image on the page that's in blue. My button is orange. Here's another little hint. Use the orange. That's the same as like the Amazon buy button. Everybody's used to hitting buy on that Amazon button, right? Find the hex code or whatever, the RGB code or whatever for the Amazon button, and then use that orange on your page, right? But the button needs to be the only thing on that page that is whatever color you're going to use for the button. The button needs to stand out, period. Cool. So, do you want to see the design of our best converting capture page? Get your screenshots ready, and come on, guys, I can't show you my client stuff. Non-disclosure agreements, guys, right? So, but I can show you the wireframe. So this is pretty much the exact look. There's only a couple of variations here that I'll discuss in a second, but headline goes here and contains the main benefit statement. Subheadline is here, and that'll expand on the headline. So main headline might be something like lose X number of pounds in such and such a days, and then your subheadline is usually the without X, Y, and Z, without pills, potions, without starving yourself, like all the, without having to work out 8 hours a day, like different things like that, right? A sentence or two will go here, and using this ebook, whatever, you'll discover benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3. And on page 7, you'll discover blah, 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 right? And then download the free guide here. Sorry, I didn't follow my own advice having a different color for the button, could be orange, whatever. The only thing that I'd like to fix here is this ebook should be facing tilted so that it's facing in and facing towards the button. In this case, I'd actually, if I couldn't change the e-cover, the image would be on the left so that all the text would be on the right with the button below. And then again, the e-cover is already kind of like turned towards the inside of the page. So hopefully that makes some sense. And you guys, again, pause that, go through some ideas, and make your own landing page look like that. So was that behind the scenes peek at the design helpful for you? Did you get something out of that was actionable? I hope so. YouTube insight number 3, ad creative secrets. How do you get results with your ads? I once had a client say, Adam, I have a face for radio, and I'm going to leave their name anonymous. And the point of that is, Adam, I don't want to be on video. I have a face for radio. Again, we'll talk about their self-esteem later. But ultimately, what I'm talking about here is, do you have to show your face in an ad? No, not necessarily. We've done plenty of ads where it's just, it could be a voice actor doing it. It could be AI voice. It could be your voice. It could be you doing the video and then us only using some of the video, maybe only the audio part of that video to do that and just put white background with text on the screen. There's a lot of different ways to get around it. So don't think that you have to be on camera. Could it potentially convert better? Absolutely. At the same time, it's not a necessity. So video overview. Again, you can be on video. We've gotten some of our best converting ads using clients' B-roll, which is them, walking, them, pretending to type on their computer, writing something down, them on the phone. That's all stuff where they're speaking over it, but it's video of them going out, throughout their day. So that's B-roll. Stock footage. These are just stock footage websites. I've got a bunch of them that we've used in the past. One main one that I use now called Storyblocks. And then the voiceover track, right? Next, script everything out in Google Docs. You want to have a nice hook in the beginning of it. So that's your pattern interrupt, what's going to get their attention. Then that main benefit statement. What are they going to get by watching the rest of this video, the video ad itself? And then talk about what's their ideal outcome. How is their problem going to be solved, right? And then it becomes, okay, this is, if you're interested in learning more, here, download my free PDF or watch my video report or this case study, or I've got this book I want to send you, and you hold up the book, whatever. That's my phone. But get the book for free, just pay for shipping and handling, something like that. Whatever that call to action is, right? Next, you can record this in any audio software. Again, this is talking about if you don't want to be on camera at all. I use Goldwave. I think GarageBand is what is used on Mac. That comes standard with Mac. Again, free for both of those. You want to edit it so that all of your audio mess ups are gone. And then you can use video blocks. I believe it's called Story Blocks now for stock footage. I've been using Audio Jungle for background music, sound effects, stuff like that. I've done, like a record skipping sound. I've done a clown laughing. I've done kind of like a Batman, slap, bonk, kind of cartoon noises, that kind of stuff to get people's attention or to hold their attention within the ads. So again, get creative is the point there. I've personally used Camtasia to edit videos. CapCut is another good one. I think iMovie is still usable as far as that goes. So again, any inexpensive software, free software, Camtasia is a few $100s. Anything you need to use for video editing, go for it. So what's the proper length? How long does the video have to be to get enough of their attention, to hold it, and to present enough information for them to want to click the link, to even make a decision like, yeah, I want more information. So the answer is the length of the video needs to be long enough to keep them interested, but it's also not a lecture or a dissertation. You're not going to keep them there for 45 minutes. So really though, if your YouTube video is 10 minutes long, what are you even doing to keep their attention? What value are you sharing? And could you cut that down to 5 or 4 minutes? Next is if your YouTube video is 60 seconds, is that long enough to grab their attention, pique their interest, and create enough curiosity and value for them to want to take the next step? So the answer of this is you're wondering if I was just going to beat around the bush, didn't you? The ideal length of a YouTube video ad is about 3 minutes. Again, the high-ticket e-commerce example and the case studies that I went through first in this video presentation, that ad was like 90 seconds long. That's all we needed to explain the offer, right? Very simple offer. Like if I'm like horse for sale, it's a horse and it's for sale, right? Like it's very straightforward, not going to be necessarily a super long ad. But if you're selling software, if you're selling a coaching program, if you're selling a course, if you're selling, anything that's going to take any kind of an educational sales process, 3 minutes is normally right about where you're going to be at. Which, by the way, I was CMO of a company that did a little over $20 million in a year, and our primary YouTube ad that was being used was about 8 minutes long in that case. Why? Way over delivering value in the ad. Again, that happened to work. Might have worked better with a 3-minute ad. We'll never know, right? So you want to go through an example? Yes, I just kind of did. So I usually at this point in the presentation, I ask for somebody's niche, and then I go through and I give you an example of what that might look like. So if you want an example, or if you want some ideas and you're looking at potentially running some YouTube ads, again, hit me up at the end of this presentation. YouTube insight number 4, targeting strategies. So again, what is your product and service being offered? Who is your ideal customer? And then where do they hang out? What do they read and watch? What books, shows, YouTube channels, let's say TV channels, YouTube channels, topics do they search about? And this isn't necessarily like exactly around your niche. It could be, but a keto course in this case, in this example. Okay, that's going to be a male, maybe 25 to 45. They go to the gym, maybe they're into CrossFit, maybe they're already watching workout videos, even though this is a course about nutrition, right? Again, because it's a congruency of like, this is the avatar. This is the not just demographic, but psychographic, right? If I'm in a CrossFit, if I'm into going to the gym, I'm looking up workouts and stuff like that, and I'm looking at how to get lean, I'm going to hit those people up with a keto course ad, right? So again, workout videos. Maybe they subscribe to Bodybuilder magazine or something like that, or they get a membership at bodybuilder.com. Are they searching for keto recipes, a keto meal prep? Maybe they're interested in Dr. Oz or Thomas DeLauer. Thomas DeLauer's got a pretty big YouTube channel, again, around fitness and nutrition. So again, these are all different things that I can target on YouTube. So here's where to start. Here's an actionable thing you can do right now. What are 5 keyword phrases? So questions. That's all you need to know. What 5 questions, keywords that your customer avatar would search for on Google? And if you're not sure, ask ChatGPT. Right, go to ChatGPT and say, what are the 5 primary questions somebody might be looking for if they're searching for my type of product? Now, if you do a search on those 5 keywords, and note the top 2 to 3 websites for each search. So now you might have a list of 5, maybe even 10 keywords. You go and you search for those keywords individually, and you make a list of all the websites that are coming up for the top, again, only the top 2 or 3. Again, these are going to be more than likely your competitors. They could be just informational websites, blogs, whatever it may be. But as long as they are relevant to your offer, write those down. So now you have one column with like 5 keywords and the other column with 10 or 15 different websites. You're going to take those keywords and those websites, and you can create what's called a custom audience, a custom segment in Google. So I just wrote the words keyword phrase, but basically what you do in here is you'll click on, create new custom segment. You'll name it. I just put my audience or whatever. And then under add interests or purchase intentions, I added the 5 keyword phrases here. And then there's another thing that you'll click on that says, I want to add on websites. After you click it, this pops up. And then you'll just add all the websites in here. I was going to type in competitors 4 through 15. I knew you'd get the point. But all the URLs go in here one at a time, or if you want to copy them and paste them all at once, just have a comma in between each one of them, and you'll be good. And then now you can actually target this custom audience, which is going to go based upon their interests or purchase intentions. Again, purchase intentions, going right back to the beginning of the presentation. Intent. Who is searching specifically with the intent of making a purchase, right? That's who we want. So can you see how YouTube takes all the complicated hoops to jump through, takes out all those, it makes it paint by numbers simple to get your campaign up and running? Can you see how you can get results faster on YouTube's platform with intent, with custom, highly targeted, sniping the exact audience that you want to go after? And then you've already got the formula for what the landing page should look like, and then what the ad is like as well. So again, hopefully you guys got a lot out of this presentation. If you've got questions, I've got answers. You can reach out to me at support@adamhollandmarketing.com, or if you want to book a call with me directly, again, as long as it's available, adamhollandmarketing.com/bookwithceo. Book while I have an opening possibly available. I'm generally only taking 1 or 2 clients a month. I'm super picky. At the same time, if I can't do anything for you, I'm still going to point you in the right direction, whether it's another agency or other resources or whatever it might be. So again, reach out with any questions, and I hope you guys got a lot out of this. Take care for now.